Hello. So I wasn't originally going to be doing a film or a blog. Why am I saying film? That's a different thing. However, uh, because I watched the most recent Fantastic Four film, and please no comments about how bad it was or how good it was. I really don't care. Especially if you're a critic, I really don't care what your unless you were. The only critics I actually care about are the ones who actually read the comics through, watched all these Marvel movies, and etc. I rarely ever, I haven't listened to a critic since, Eber and Rupert, or whatever the names were. The guy who had the jaw cancer, I think it was. I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm gonna just tell you right off the bat that this thing is paused, which I love. My Kindle does not have that, so you usually see the little bloopers. So it's not gonna be bloopers, it's just gonna be pausing so I can flip the meat that I'm cooking right now, because I'm making dinner while I'm doing this. And no comments on the picture behind me because that's none of anybody's business. Don't judge me for being harsh. It's been a long day. It's been a long semester. It's gonna be a longer summer. Trust me. And you guys have heard of what I've been going through. And there goes my cat. Warning if I have to start yelling at somebody, it's because they're being idiots. Anyway, so yeah, I watched the most recent Fantastic Four film. Now, I've watched a majority of the Marvel things, including some that not many people realize are actually Marvel unless you're a really in-depth comic book reader, or actually look up this stuff on Wikipedia. I'm neither. I actually grew up just watching the films. The only comic books I ever actually got to read that were Marvel was when the third XMen movie was coming out, and I got to read Phoenix, or anything from XMen about the Dark Phoenix. My dad pulled all of those specifically out. And then I got to read, when we came back, we put all the ones that he had pulled out, because we were going to Vegas at the time. And instead I got to read all the Spider-Man ones that he owned. Now that doesn't mean everything. She's playing with a pencil that I threw for my cat, because they were, like I said, this is take two. So, you're probably still going to get bloopers, but it's just me rambling. So I actually was looking, because everyone knows that majority of the Marvel films have Stan Lee. I'm going to go with Stan Lee and say side roles, or roles in general, because he's not only done like non-speaking roles, speaking roles, but really not a big part. Speaking roles that are semi a big part because he's actually being involved, or he's playing somebody else, which was only 2 films as far as I'm concerned. Now, no, I have not seen Deadpool, I have not seen Batman vs. Superman, and I have not seen the most recent Captain America. So if you can comment if one of the 2 following things that make a Marvel film currently are in it, but do not tell me what happens for the credits thing, because I will not read them. Well, I will start reading them, but then I will quickly shut them off, or I will hide them. Oh wait, no, that's the wrong thing. I won't block them, but it's like, I don't want to read it. I don't like spoilers. Well, not anymore. Especially with Marvel. Marvel, you get spoilers at the end of each movie. So not all of them are like that. Now, this video is not going to include anything that's animated, movie-wise, anything that's TV-wise, but animated or not. Though currently, majority of the Marvel stuff, TV-wise, is all animated on Disney, currently. Cause everything that's live action currently right now is all DC comic book wise. If I'm wrong, you can comment down below if I'm wrong. Now I'm not going to be mentioning every film, or I might mention a couple, but I haven't seen, so I can't prove or disprove. And then some stuff, it's like, I didn't get to watch it until it was on DVD because I was A, too young to watch it because it was a little graphic. You know what I'm talking about. Or B, we just didn't go see in theaters. Like I said, those 3 films I just mentioned, I have not gotten to see yet. So no spoilers. Though I don't really care about Batman vs. Superman, I just really care about not getting spoilers for Deadpool or Captain America Civil War. And now that I'm almost 5 minutes in, I'm going to pause it so I can flip the meat. So I am back. Didn't take that long, did it? Well, for a few seconds to you, or me, is actually just maybe minuscule seconds to you guys. Now, From what I read from an article, because I was looking up a couple things, but I found a really in-depth one that was, or at least one that had an actual good list. Now, anything that, it said anything currently, like, really old, like the 19-somethings, up to Avengers Age of Ultron. And I'm just talking about Stan Lee cameos. Side roles. Sorry, Stan. Or Mr. Lee, I should say. So anyway, I'm gonna be, like I said, I'm gonna be saying most of the films I'm gonna be saying though are gonna be the ones that don't. I might say a little bit of the ones that do, but that's only just because. Now what makes a Stan Lee film or a Marvel film is a Stan Lee side role or a role in general, and the little credits at the end. That's what we've all come to know. But the thing is, not all of them were like that. Not all of them were directed the way they were. Excluding Disney, Disney or not, because remember, there's only a couple of Disney-based Marvel films. There was a couple, excluding really old stuff. There's only one film I actually saw on that list that actually I recognize the character. So there might be a couple that I didn't recognize on that list that I'm not going to talk about, but was The Punisher. I don't know if that wasn't anything recent. That was like early 2000s, maybe not. I think like I don't remember if it said 2004 or something like that. So it's not really current. That's the only thing I haven't seen that I didn't even know was a film that was actually film. So I'm gonna probably see if I can find that. The next thing was there's a couple of films that weren't directed by someone who was going in the way that usually we go now. And a couple of them you might recognize are Elektra and both Ghost Rider films. And then this current Fantastic Four. I'm not kidding. It's like, I can accept Elektra because she's a side character, for crying out loud. You aren't gonna expect that. She's gonna get a big in-depth film. This was just like what became of her. Now, Daredevil did get a Stan Lee cameo, but I don't think, or a side role, but I don't know if they didn't really initiate the whole credit surprise until later on, maybe like within these last sets of films. Like the first one I saw was I think either XMen or Spider-Man, the first one of each. So the original Spider-Man that we grew up with before they made the Amazing Spider-Man, and then same thing with the X-Men. Now I believe there's a couple of X-Men films. The second one did not have a Stan Lee thing, nor did I think it had, but I think it did have a sneak peek in the credits or at the very end of the film, which is one of the things I'm surprised about because, like I said before, if I didn't already, I grew up reading some of the comics, not all of them. My dad's got a bunch, like in these big white boxes, like, which is normal. And I only got to read a majority of the Spider-Man films or books, and then some Teen Titans, a couple of other things, and then anything that had to do with Dark Phoenix. So I think there was like a little credit sneak peek in the second film, but there was no Stan Lee, which was acceptable. A couple of these current Wolverine, a couple of the current related movies, which are the Wolverine origin ones, as well as the X-Men remake that's going from the beginning when Xavier and Magneto were younger. Now I'm hoping this goes well because I'm already I'm a little past 9 minutes, and I don't know if 15 minutes is going to still be the minimum or maximum or not. So let's hope for the best. So and I can see that. I would have loved to see the one because there was like one of those cameo things from Wolverine when they in First Class, and it's like it would have been nice to have Stan Lee sitting next to him after. He said, I'm going to say bugger off. Don't judge me. I like British lingo sometimes. Mainly that one. Anyway, like I said, so Elektra and the X-Men, a couple of the X-Men, I can understand that, especially the current X-Men stuff. Maybe this first newest film that we're going to get, the X-Men Apocalypse one, maybe I can see having a Stanley side role, but I'm not expecting it. Another one, a couple others, like I said, were the Ghost Rider films. Now the thing is, although I say I can understand Elektra's, it still would have been nice to have something for it. But you can't expect that. The X-Men's, I forgot that a lot about them. And I wasn't really paying attention to the Wolverine ones as much, but I did pay attention a little bit more with, pretty much my paying attention was the original 3 X-Men, the new X-Men currently coming out, and these Wolverine origins. That's on my level of paying attention officially. My dad didn't even want to see the original Wolverine origin stuff, but I convinced him to. Yay! Anyway, with that, pretty much I can understand, but I mean, like, it would have been nice to have it. So the only one I actually can accept not having a little preview and not having Stan Lee whatsoever involved was the first Ghost Rider film. The second one, not so much, because that's got screwed up. I treat that film just like I treat the Percy Jackson films and the Avatar Last Airbender live action film. That's how I treat that film, or that Ghost Rider. I do not accept it as well, I mean, I will watch it from time to time, but I do not accept it. The only thing awesome about it was how they changed Ghost Rider's look, but I still love the original. So pretty much, I mean, Ghost Rider was one of the first few movies that we actually got to see that didn't involve all this stuff that currently is, like what we're used to now. So, and it's understandable. But the thing is, they made the first film so well that I don't care. I mean, what it's like. I mean, what it should have been, because this was before it. Now, but don't get me started on the second film. Like I said, don't get me started on the second film. I'm just gonna do this. Why? Yes, I know it's probably a completely different director from the original, let alone a director that's completely off the guard. And I kind of feel like this is how this new Fantastic Four went. Yes, it was nice. Yeah, it only had one battle in it. Not what we're used to with any Marvel film. But I can accept it a little bit more because I can see what they're trying to do. They were really trying to give it an origin, not just boop, bing, ba, boom, superpowers, now you're gonna be a superhero. Which some of the Marvel films you can see happen. Thor, don't have, but that's not really, he was already a god, he wasn't a superhero. He didn't need to be a superhero either, but he chose to be. Now, the only thing I haven't talked about yet was the Blade trilogy. Yes, I know that's a Marvel thing. I'm not that naive. Now, I have seen the Blade trilogy, and as far as I can tell, I don't believe it did have anything like Stan Lee. Like I said, this was around probably the same era, time thing as like Ghost Rider and all of those films. So I'm not expecting that. But I guess I don't consider it even Marvel. I just consider it a comic book based film series, I guess. But anyway, that's about it with that. I'm hoping I'm either gonna, now that Deadpool's out on DVD, I'm gonna either request it from the library or try to get it myself, buying wise. But that won't be until it's under $15, let alone maybe even under $10, so it's gonna be a while. I doubt we're gonna go see Batman vs. Superman anytime soon. Though if we do, it's gonna be a miracle. Same thing, sadly, with the Civil War. And I wish I really could see that one, because Deadpool and Civil War were actually something I was looking forward to. But I do have looking forward to seeing Suicide Squad. Sad thing is, I don't think my mother's gonna see it, and we usually drag my mother to every single movie that involves a superhero, with the exception of a couple things, such as the X-Men movie, after the trilogy, like we dragged her to the Batman movies, I'll tell you that much. And when we were seeing either, I think it was when the third Spider-Man was coming out, the last Spider-Man with the original guy. I think we caught her up with the first two films in like 2 weeks, and boy was she still confused because we watch them all the time. My dad and I are currently rewatching or watching stuff. There's a couple films that I've already seen that were anime, but he hasn't. But anything newer with the DC and Marvel universe. So that we didn't, like I said, some of the stuff I did see, some of the stuff he didn't, and some stuff luckily enough's been on demand, so we've been, either watching it separate or end up watching it, which is what today ended up being. We watched the new Fantastic Four. And if my mother sees this, she's not going to be happy if she did want to see that movie. But honestly, I don't think she really cared. She's not as big as superhero fans me and my dad are, but she does understand some of it. Which sometimes actually can surprise me. I'm not joking. It's like, wait, you actually pay attention to the films? Anyway, that's about it for me. Today's the next Steven Universe, so maybe I'll do a video, maybe not. I did promise I would do a video, which is probably going to be that, Barn Mates. Yay! So anyway, you might see me a little bit later. Good luck, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Hopefully this video will be okay, because it's already 16 minutes in. So, hopefully the YouTube will let me put this video on. And my cat sees a bird or a squirrel. Probably a bird, because we don't get squirrels by my house. Anyway, click like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Like I said, don't spoil the scene credit spoilers that they usually do for the Marvel films. I don't care if you spoiled Batman vs Superman, I really don't care. That movie, I could tell, was not going to be a good one from the trailers. Usually, I mean, whenever someone says that, usually they're wrong, but in this case, from what I've heard, they're right. But, yeah. I'm hoping everyone has a great summer, though. Bye.